Yeah, yeah. Making her way to the mic. They start dimming the lights. You start feeling alright. From Birmingham, home of the Teddy Longs and the Ruben Studders. More once you discover. For all of the lovers, Whitney Houston and Roman Reigns. For all of the lovers, and Mickey James and Marvin Gaye. For all of the lovers, and Sasha Banks, Janelle Monáe, Silk, Sonic, and Paige. Allow me to say, look, I just found a place, sweet escape for every one of us. I was kinda late, I just made it off the struggle bus. Walking by the fate, cause I know it's right in front of us. Yo, I ain't with the hate, gotta focus on what's great. Ladies and gentlemen, Steph Hardy is on the air. Had to drop a couple bars just to make you all aware. So, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. You know I go by Joe or the rest of the flow, yeah.
Hey y'all, welcome to a new episode of the Hardy Wrestling Podcast with your girl Stephanie Hardy. It is Saturday morning, so if you are watching this in your pajamas while you're eating cereal or any type of breakfast right now, thank you so much. And of course, if you're going to be listening to this later, whether you be at work or wherever you might be, thank you so much for your love and your support. Of course, I am here to give you all of the what's going on in all of professional wrestling in a chill, positive, and passionate way. And I'm so happy to be before you on this day. And there's just so much going on in professional wrestling. I feel like I say that a lot, but honestly, it just never slows down. Like Nathan Frazier and Axiom, they never slow down. Wrestling never slows down. And it's just always something happening for the good of everything. And I'm so happy to be before you on this day to talk about it. So, of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is the Hardy Wrestling Podcast with the logo that you see in the corner over here. I do have new subscribers, so hello to all of y'all. And let's just get those subscriber numbers up. I want to get to 400, and I'm really excited about what's to come. So please, please, please support the brand, support everything that's coming out from it and all of the above. Follow me on TikTok at Stephanie_Hardy4, I believe, or it's just Stephanie_Hardy. You can also follow the Hardy Wrestling Podcast on Instagram at Hardy Wrestling Podcast and on Twitter/X at Hardy Wrestle Pod, where you can find all kinds of updates, live tweets, and so many other things of what's going on in wrestling. And of course, read my articles on dailyddt.com. I do have a new one out that I will be talking about a little bit later. But yeah, there is just so much coming down through the pike. I'm really blessed to be active in this space the way that I am. And yeah, let's just get into the stuff. So we're going to start with news and gossipish like we always do. And we got to get into all of the crazy stuff that happened even as recent as Thursday, and that's the news of Miro, formerly known as Rusev in WWE, and he was God's favorite wrestler in AEW, and he was a big signing that a lot of people were excited about when he got signed to AEW, but some news about him came out that really kind of shocked people. He actually asked for his release from AEW after being there for a while. So he requested his release, and it was reported by Fightful Select, and he has not wrestled at all for AEW in the year of 2024. And his last match in the company was a win over Andrade at AEW World's End in December of 2023. And if I'm not mistaken, that was Andrade's last match in WWE, well, not in AEW as well, before he went over to WWE. So it's just really crazy how all of this is happening. He was dealing with injuries for the last year, but he's been healthy for a while. But, he just hasn't been on TV. And he was signed with them he signed with them in September of 2020, and then he signed a 4-year extension near the time his original deal was set to expire. And he's only wrestled 11 matches. So this is just really shocking when you think about how powerful this man is and just how strong he is and what he did give to WWE in the years he was over there and what he did do in AEW. His character work did seem kind of okay. But then I feel like something kind of changed when CJ Perry, formerly known as Lana, came over there. And of course, they used to be married, but they're not anymore. And there was something about that that just changed a bit for him. And then after that, it just wasn't, nothing really happened from that anymore. And it was just really strange. But I do wish him the best in his wrestling career. I hope that he figures out what's best for him at this point, because like I said, he's really powerful and very gifted. He was a multi-time champion in WWE. So really, the sky's the limit for him. So we're just gonna keep our fingers crossed that he will land on his feet and be in the place that best suits him right now in his life right now. So yeah, pretty crazy news, the fact that he got released. Also, if you guys are watching live, chime in the comments wherever you guys are watching, and your comments might pop up on the screen. I might show it up on there, and react to it. So yeah, just tell me how you feeling about this stuff. Also in the news, we have the amazing song Never Play by Megan Thee Stallion and RM of BTS. This song caused quite an uproar because this is now the new SmackDown theme song since they made their move to USA 2 weeks ago. And a lot of people did like the fact that this was a new theme song and loved the idea of her being involved more in the wrestling things. I was definitely an advocate of her getting more involved in wrestling. But of course, a lot of people lost their minds about it, didn't like it, wanted to say that this is not a wrestling theme song and that it should be more rock and all this other stuff, which was kind of a microaggression just to say that you don't like the fact that maybe Black women are getting more involved in wrestling. You're weird, stay over there. But here's the thing. The song actually debuted at #1 on both the Billboard digital song sales and rap song sales dated to September the 21st. And this marks RM of BTS's second #1 on the digital sales charts and Megan Thee Stallion's sixth #1. So we want to sing congratulations to them for giving such a cool song and such a cool offering that was able to be transformed into this SmackDown theme song. I really like it. It hypes me up. I know a lot of people in wrestling, because they've been watching it for so long, feel like, oh, well, it has to be rock and that's something that, just gets the blood pumping and everything. But hip hop definitely gets the blood pumping, because have you ever been to a party and just, somebody's song just comes on immediately? They're like, oh, that's my song. And then they just start dancing and rapping all the words and stuff. That hypes people up too. So I'm more than sure that this is going to feed into the audience of people who love Megan Thee Stallion and love to listen to her music. So I'm okay with it. I'm a hottie as well. I'm cool with it. I actually wrote an article talking about why she actually needs to get in the ring, because we've seen lots of male celebrities such as Snoop Dogg and such as Bad Bunny get in the ring with others, and it would just be really nice to see another female celebrity do that, because we have not had a female celebrity really get in the ring like that since Snooki from Jersey Shore, and that was years ago when I was like 17. So we gotta, get some more celebrities in the mix, and Megan Thee Stallion is one of the best people to do that because she's very active, she's physically fit. She just has everything that you need to have that charisma for professional wrestling. She even joked about it on Twitter and said, well, I guess I need to make my debut soon. And I'm just like, yes, girl, come and do it. But congratulations to her, because I just love watching her succeed. And also RM of BTS and the BTS Army, because they are a huge fandom. And I know this is huge for them as well. So we just love representation on all fronts for Black people and also for Asian people as well. So big ups to them for that. And in talking more about about Megan Thee Stallion in professional wrestling, there was a certain report that came out this week talking about how there were talks between Mercedes Moné and Megan Thee Stallion, possibly working together in AEW. And Mercedes was really excited about it. And she actually, talked about it online and said, for fans to stay tuned. Well, when the news came out last week that Megan would be letting WWE lose her song for the SmackDown theme, the reports came out and, there were rumors, but Mercedes Monet confirmed on her Monet Mag Weekly, which I do recommend you subscribe to because it is a really good read, that there was something cooking between her and Mercedes Monet. So she said, and I quote, Sports Illustrated and other sources reported on conversations between my advocate Kevin Undergaro and Meg's manager Mike B regarding her and me doing stuff at AEW. It's true. A few weeks ago in an interview, I made the mistake of teasing the idea, which made headlines, of course, naturally, because she's Mercedes Moné and she's the Beyonce of wrestling. More recently, it was announced that Meg would be part of the new SmackDown theme. It could all be a coincidence, of course, but then they don't call me the blueprint for nothing. In hindsight, I should have kept my mouth shut about it, but all you can do is live and learn. I'm flattered and honored in a way, as it proves we are clearly on the right path. While I would have loved to have worked with Meg and would have loved to see her work with our brand, I'm still happy for her. She's a great person and talent who will get exposure to the vast wrestling audience. Trust in this. AEW and Team Monet have a lot more brewing, so it's all good. You all will just have to wait this time to hear about it. And so finding out that this was true, that her camp and Megan's camp did talk, was really interesting to hear. If she did get involved with AEW, that would be cool for, the vast wrestling community as a whole to gain that type of exposure. But here's the thing. Um, Even though this could have just so easily fed into the notion of possible tribalism, I feel like Megan Thee Stallion is such a big star that she could work with WWE with the music half and then show up and do wrestling in the AEW half. Like, just because she did, bring her song to the WWE does not mean that she can't work with AEW too, because Snoop Dogg, Mercedes' cousin, actually worked with both. He got in the ring at AEW, did a splash, and then also did commentary and got into the ring at WrestleMania in Hollywood as well. So, ¿por qué no los dos? Why can't Megan do both? So if she can do both, and if Snoop Dogg can do both, make it happen. I feel like Megan is one of those artists that could very well pop up on both promotions and everything will be just fine. So, hey, let's just all have fun and let's just let these artists have fun with wrestling in a huge way. The rap and wrestling era is definitely in full swing. I love to see it. And then of course there's more when it comes to rap and wrestling that we do have to discuss. And that is Sexy Red being announced as a guest for NXT in St. Louis. Of course, she has talked about how big of a fan she is of NXT. She even popped up on an episode to help reveal the NXT Women's North American Championship. She even popped up on NXT Battleground Las Vegas, where she famously told Sarah Schreiber to twerk. So she was really having the time of her life. So she will be back at NXT St. Louis, which of course are really big shows, of course, because NXT is moving over to the CW next month. So it's going to be really cool. So to see all these women get involved in wrestling, it's just really fun and really cool. So for all we know, she could very well get involved in things the way that she did when it came to pulling the title away from Gallus to keep them from cheating on an episode of NXT. I'm here for it, so I'm just really excited. Malcolm in the comments, thank you so much for watching. He said, Megan Thee Stallion at WrestleMania in Vegas. Book it. Hey, you can also book her for Double or Nothing if you want to. So I'm here for it. So yeah, rap and wrestling is alive and well and it's thriving. So I'm here for it. I love it. Let's just be open to other genres getting involved in wrestling, guys. It's okay. It's literally okay. It's okay. Hold my hand. It's okay. So yeah, big ups to Sexy Red and big ups to NXT making a huge move to the CW, and also big ups to us wrestling fans not getting confused and turning on to USA when it's supposed to be the other channel. It's fine. But yeah. Also in news and gossipish and more contract news, Penta Zero Miedo, forgive me if I butchered that, I'm so sorry, and Ray Phoenix, known as the Lucha Brothers, have signed a multi-year deal with WWE, and it's being reported that they will go straight to the main roster. This was also very surprising for me, and apparently they said that WWE has started producing mask, t-shirts, and more promotional materials. Kelvin, who's watching, thank you, said Make It All Out 2025 would have made all the sense. She's from Texas. Okay, come on. Talk about it. Talk about it. Manifest the things, Kelvin. I like that. That's a good thought. But yeah, the Lucha Brothers are now signed with WWE, and apparently they've started to produce mass t-shirts and more promotional materials. The Wrestling Observer newsletter notes that Penta was expected to leave AEW for some time, and Phoenix leaving with him means that Tony Khan let him out of his deal early, as he was out for a year due to injuries, which added time to his contract. This surprised me because the Lucha Brothers have been rocking with AEW for a long time, and I do believe where I did read where they have basically been with them since the very beginning of AEW in their beginning stages. So to watch them, you know, leave was just really surprising news. But I do wish the very best for them because they are really talented. I've seen their tag team work previously, so they are really cool. The thing though, I'm also sort of being cautiously optimistic with them because I don't necessarily, and this is no shade at all to LWO, no shade at all, because I love them so dearly, especially my girl Zelina Vega. I don't want them to be placed with just LWO automatically just because they fit that demographic. I want them to sort of stand on their own 2 feet as a tag team and to sort of just help uplift the tag team roster per se. Like, of course, if they want to work with them like with one-offs with the LWO, then that's fine. But don't just put them over there just because they fit, that demographic. Like, let them stand on their own if they're going to be on the main roster. That's really the only thing that I'm hoping from their time on the main roster, if that's true. Sports for you in the comments saying good morning. Good morning, guys. Thank you for watching. Kelvin saying Lucha Bros were day one. It's sad to see them go, but they will do great in WWE. Yeah, it's really interesting how, the how stuff can change. Michael Bullet, hey, I met him yesterday at work. Hey, shout out from Bullet Club yesterday. Yes, thank you so much for watching and subscribing. I'm so happy to see you on here watching live. Good morning. So yeah, the Lucha Brothers are in WWE. I'm really excited to see the type of matches they might have. They could fight with the Street Profits and it would definitely eat. They could even go down to NXT and fight with Nathan Frazier and Axiom, and that would be great. Just whatever they decide to do in the tag team mix would just be absolutely fantastic. I wouldn't even be opposed to them taking the titles off of the Judgment Day, but we just got to wait and see. But congratulations to them, to the Lucha Bros for getting signed. Sports for you in the comments saying, got to see them at the Forum in that trios ladder match. They're going to kill it. And I agree. And I agree. They don't need the LWO. Yeah, but no shade because I love the LWO all the way down. But don't just put them over there just because they fit that demographic. Don't do that. That's kind of lazy. But yeah, shout out to them and for them having that opportunity. That's going to be huge. Also, in more news and gossipish, we have AEW TV deal rumblings going on, of course. Since AEW has been on with Warner Brothers and the TNT and TBS for a long period of time now, there have been lots of rumors regarding their TV deal and ratings and stuff like that. And there is this rumor that AEW Rampage, their show that comes on Friday nights right after SmackDown, could be canceled. So Dave Meltzer, who we do have to take with a grain of salt because sometimes he be off the leash. But he did report that Rampage may not continue as AEW shifts its attention to bigger opportunities with broadcast networks like ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, Telemundo, Univision, CW, or ION. Currently in the home stretch of its marathon negotiations, AEW has most recently been linked to Fox with the promotion filing trademark for the term AEW Shockwave. And also, John Arand of Puck reported that AEW was nearing a Warner Brothers deal that could, in the ballpark, be of $170 million per year for 4 years, 3 years guaranteed. And such a deal would make AEW profitable. However, AEW could find itself in no man's land if it does not improve key indicators in the future necessary to make them relevant. Now, this isn't something that I like to fully get into because I feel like notions like this feed into the tribalism and the toxicity of the wrestling community that tends to get really rough at times. But when it comes to ratings, people, I do see stuff that people say about their ratings and stuff, and it's just really hard because you want to see wrestling succeed as a whole. And the idea that AEW, they're basically like this second big company underneath WWE that's offering opportunities for people, and you just don't necessarily want that to fail because everybody, at this point in time can't necessarily be in the one big place at this point. So it's good that there are other options like AEW, like TNA, like NWA, like WOW, where you can be seen. So I want to see AEW succeed in the idea that they can continue to be an option for wrestlers to get on television because you have a lot of indie people like Willow Nightingale and like the Bounty Hunter and Brian Keith, even though I know he's called the Bad Apple right now, who have life-changing opportunities to get on television and get that type of exposure in that way that they might not be able to get elsewhere at this point, but they're getting it because AEW exists. And I want that to still succeed to a degree. And if Rampage isn't going to necessarily be a thing anymore, I've been of the notion that I feel like AEW should have an all-women show because I just love all women's content, obviously. And if they had an all women show, that would be amazing. Or if they replaced it with an ROH show, because I would love to see Ring of Honor on television and not just in streaming, because I have enough streaming services as it is. And I just don't want to break the bank further. And there's just no shade to them. But like times is hard. Money, got to keep it. So, I would have loved it if AEW transitioned Ring of Honor back to television because there are wrestlers on there that are doing a phenomenal job over there. But of course, it's up to them ultimately, so we just got to chill. Ranting with Ricardo saying, good morning, good morning. And he said, I would love to see AEW succeed, but it's hard to watch their television because it's all over the place and rushed. Now, I have seen those type of complaints too. For me, when I do try to watch it as best as I can, because I also do other work as well in wrestling that I have to focus on, I do watch them and I do find it easy for me to catch up with things because, well, I just know what's going on a lot of the time. And I do find it pretty good television when I do watch it and I am into it for the few hours that I am looking at it. It's not hard for me, but I do understand that complaint because a lot of people might feel that way. But they're still finding their footing. They're getting ready to celebrate their 5th anniversary. Like, this is still a baby company all in comparison to others. So they're still finding their way. They're about to become a running toddler at this point. Like, they're a child still. So they still have to find their way. So I'm pretty sure this TV deal will give them inspiration to do more with their talent. So that's all that really matters. Malcolm saying, do you think AEW is running out of ideas? I don't. I literally don't. I feel like they're fine. They're fine. So big ups to them and their TV deal. And I hope that they figure stuff out and just really just figure out what helps the brand in the meantime. Because really, all that truly matters are the people that are working there and helping to make it grow and the wrestlers that illuminate the show. That's all that matters to me. So, Kelly Keegan, thank you for watching, saying take on Nigel's return. I love it. When Nigel McGuinness returned to wrestling, I was okay about it. I was really happy about it because I was actually one of those people who had not heard of Nigel McGuinness outside um of the WWE UK scene when he was a commentator. So I did not know that he was a wrestler until he would talk about it. And I was like, oh, okay. And because I'm a weirdo who doesn't look back on certain things a lot of the time, I was really surprised and happy to see him return to the ring at All In. That was a really cool moment. So I was really okay about it. Thank you for that question. And thank you for watching. So more stuff in news and gossipish is that there's a rumor that Raw and SmackDown are having hour changes. It was announced that Monday Night Raw will be going down to 2 hours in the month of October before they're moved to Netflix next year. And there's another rumor that SmackDown might be moving to 3 hours on USA once Raw makes its shift over to Netflix next year. And I know that I'm gonna watch it regardless, but this kind of caused a lot of confusion for people due to what's actually been announced and what the rumors are. But we're just gonna wait and see. I'm not opposed to more wrestling because I've been watching hours upon wrestling for years, so I'm not opposed to it at all. But it's really up to WWE what they want to do with their two flagships. So hey, they like it. I love it. I don't care. I'm just gonna watch it how it comes. And ranting with Ricardo saying, I carved out 3 hours of my Monday for Raw. Who asked them to change it to 2? I don't know, but I have seen complaints about it being so long for years. Because I remember when Raw changed to the 3 hour format on their 1000th episode in 2012, and that was an insane time, and it was really fun for it to happen at that point. But I did see people complain about it being the 3 hours. They're like, oh my god, they're this is gonna be boring and da 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 da. But people got used to it, and here we are. So hey, it's whatever. Kelly in the comments saying taking up 3 hours on a Friday is easier than a Monday. That is true, because Monday is at the beginning of the week. You do have to get up and go to work and do certain things. But then on Friday, when you're up and you're celebrating that it's the weekend, you can do it. So I get it. So it's gonna be fun regardless. We're gonna adapt to all the changes, and it's gonna be fine. So yeah. Now, there was another report released about WWE possibly commissioning women's mid-card titles. And Bianca Belair was in an interview, one half of the women's tag team champions, and she was talking about how she would actually like more titles for the women and having more opportunity. So this led to a conversation happening online about women who they would love to have an opportunity, to be a workhorse champion in that way, whether it's IC, United States, or whatever they choose to name it. And a lot of people, were definitely bigging up Michin Mia Yim, and she is absolutely a fantastic choice to be a first women's mid-card champion, because the amount of work that she has been doing this year has been absolutely amazing. Her bouncing from SmackDown to NXT, having all of these amazing feuds, getting extreme, and seeing more of her personality. It's just really cool. And I just feel like she'll be an amazing face to put out there for a mid-card title. I think that would just be great for her, because she's just been working really hard to prove herself and to just be out there more. And I like that. I really love that. But of course, y'all know, y'all know who I'm gonna go up for. If y'all follow me on social media, y'all know Zelina Vega is my girl. Zelina Vega is my love, and she has been for a long time. And she is someone who I really, truly believe could fully benefit from this, from being the first ever Queen of the Ring, to being a tag team champion and all of the above. She continues to go out there and prove that she is more than just a manager. And she has the attitude, she has the charisma, she has the mic skills, because she has that, that New York sass in her. And she has that representation, and she represents people, from Puerto Rico. And she's from New York, and she's just amazing. She's just this amazing and talented woman who I really believe deserves to hold a title at some point. If not this year, then within the next year. So I would definitely love it if she had an opportunity to be a mid-card champion. And then, of course, you have crazy Chelsea Green, who has been doing amazing character work, as well as, match work as well. She would be an amazing mid card champion as well. So, hopefully, if WWE really is thinking about going forward with the mid card title or just doing more with the titles that they currently have, then that is perfectly fine. And then you could also defend the title wherever you want to, with NXT being a thing, even with the whole NXTNA thing being a thing too. I'm just really excited about, what's to come for the women because they just continue to show and prove that they are the headliners and the opening act and, the after party, like Outcast. Like they're just it. And I'm just so happy for all the growth that they have given, that those three women especially have given this year. And they definitely deserve a reward for it. And a mid card title is perfect. Ranting with Ricardo said, I would love to see a women's mid card championship. We would definitely get more out of the women's division than we already see. Absolutely. And then there's other women who would have opportunities who we don't get to see on television that much, like Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae and so many others. So, yeah, the sky's the limit for them, and I'm okay with that. So, I believe that is all for news and gossipish, and we are going to move into what Stephanie liked in wrestling this week. And there is a whole lot I liked in wrestling this week. Too much even even as soon as yesterday. So much has happened that I loved in wrestling this week. I gotta change it to love and not just liked. But y'all, let's start on Raw with these women. Bianca Belair, one half of the women's tag team champions, with Jade Cargill and Io Sky, wrestled a banger of a match. I think someone clocked this match as only being 9 minutes. But what's so funny is I felt like this was a longer match with all the things that they were doing and pulling off. And this picture is one of them. Io diving onto Bianca, Bianca actually lifting Io over her shoulders and pressing her up the steps the same way she did Mercedes at WrestleMania, but just like lifting her like straight up. This match was just absolutely impeccable. I cannot say enough good things about this match. If you have not seen it, I suggest you find whatever streaming service you watch wrestling on, or find YouTube or something like that, and just watch it because it was absolutely incredible. And of course, Io Sky won. She got the victory, and this sort of puts the battery in her and Kyrie Sane's back to challenge them for the women's tag team titles. But these women put on a show. And this is just what women's wrestling is all about. I love these two. I love this match. I love Bianca's gear because I just love like the tiger stripes thing that it just gives. These women tore the house down, and I'm just so proud of them. Ricardo saying Io and Bianca are wrestling soulmates. No one can tell me differently. They really are. There are a lot of people online who shared that very same sentiment. So if they fought each other again, I would definitely be here for it. So these women deserve all the flowers for the amazing match that they gave us in 9 minutes. But what's so weird is it felt longer than that. But hey, they did it. It just proves when you give women the time and the opportunity, we can make diamonds. And that's exactly what they did. Also, the drama surrounding the Judgment Day and Rhea Ripley. This is in my women's section because I love the way that Rhea Ripley stood her own against Finn Balor, who was trying to gaslight her and make it seem like her and Damian were just so bad for the Judgment Day that they had to kick them out and that they didn't benefit them in any way. And Finn was really out here being delusional and talking about all the ways in which they weren't helping and how they didn't do anything for them. And Rhea had to check him and say, look, there were times where I even put my body on the line for y'all to succeed and win your tag team titles, or even keep those tag team titles. I know, because there were times where I would get on here and talk about it and be mad at her interfering on their behalf, on Dominic's behalf, and all of that. So we're not going to sit here and pretend that Rhea didn't spear Kevin Owens when they were trying to fight them at, was it Payback or Payback last year, like we're not finna sit here and pretend that stuff like that wasn't happening. And Finn was really trying to play in her face. But the icing on the cake is Jay Uso, main event Jay, Bay J, rolled up on Finn and said, "Do we have a problem here?" Look, if it's one thing I love more than anything else in this world, is a stand up in the middle of the road man. And that's what my grandma used to say. And Jay Uso is proving himself to be a stand up in the middle of the road man when it comes to Rhea. He came up and started, his presence alone in defending her, that's the type of masculinity I need to see. I love it. I just love it. And what's so funny is they ain't even a real couple yet on television, but the way he stood up to defend her had me giggling and kicking my feet, baby. That's a real man. That is a real man. Ricardo saying that's a man right there. He said, "We got a problem." I love it. Exactly. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. I can't get enough of romance. I, along with being a wrestling girl, I love romantic films. I'm just a hopeless romantic. So seeing stuff like this just be sending me over the edge. I just love it. I love it. Defend your lady. Now, mind you, we know Rhea Ripley can hold her own. We've seen her do it plenty of times with both men and women. But baby, nothing. I love it. If you know, you know. I love it. I love it. I love it. And just what makes it even cuter is just you see the way Rhea. Let me make it bigger. Y'all see the way Rhea looking at him and the way he looking at her. I love it because it's just I just love it so much. And I said this in April on my show. Like, wouldn't it be cool if Rhea and Jay were a thing on television? And at first, a lot of people didn't like the idea, but now everybody sees it. And it's just like, I told y'all this could work. And it is the cutest thing on the planet. I just love it. I love it. I just love it. It's just so cute. And I hope I just hope that it has a an ending that we'll all love and be satisfied with. Like, of course, I want Rhea to be a dominant champion, but you can be dominant and have a man that loves you right. And I know, cause I know. Um, so this is just the stuff that I love. Ricardo saying it's giving real demure, real cutesy. Absolutely, I love it. So yeah, let's just move on. Um, I want to give props to Joe Tessitore. He has been kicking all kinds of butt on commentary. And this is hard because when he first got on there, a lot of people didn't necessarily like the change because people love Michael Cole and Pat McAfee together. They like Michael Cole on the show because he's a standard. He's an institution when it comes to commentary, in wrestling. But the thing is, they needed to make some changes to sort of keep things fresh. And with Pat being gone for College Game Day and with his Pat McAfee show that he does on ESPN every day, and Michael Cole being moved to SmackDown with Corey, we needed a new guy. We needed a new play-by-play guy. And Joe Tessitore is a really great straight man. His voice gives me vintage. Like, I feel like listening to his voice, he could have very well commentated next to um Gorilla Monsoon. Like, that's really what he's giving. And right next to Jesse the Body Ventura. Like, that's what his voice gives to me, and I like that gravitas. But then on top of that gravitas, he really looks like he's having a good time with everything too. Like, this man actually held up a sign with the people. Okay, I don't have a picture of it. With the people of Portland that said it was Yeet Country or something like that. Like, Joe Tessitore is having the time of his life. And I really feel like us as wrestling fans, we feel nostalgia very deeply and we take everything very seriously in wrestling when it comes to the things that we love and the things that we miss and stuff. But we also can't be closed-minded to change either. And sometimes you need, a little bit of a shaking up for things. So I like Joe Tessitore. I like what he brings. I like the gravitas that he brings, and you can clearly tell that he's having the time of his life. So let's just give him a chance and let him grow on commentary before we just be like, nah, I don't like it. No, like let's open our minds to new things. So yeah, big ups to Joe Tessitore. He's doing his thing. I like listening to his voice. It's cool. He's cool and it's great. Now we have to talk about Mr. Man, the best in the world, CM Punk. He came out here Monday and he doesn't come and this time he didn't come out all happy, to be alive in the city that they're in and all of the above. He was mad because he, of course, is now recovered from the attack Drew McIntyre had on him. He's recovered from Drew McIntyre breaking his bracelet and trying to choke him with it. He's back, and clearly he is upset. And what's so funny is he was talking about how, he has an angel on his shoulder, but then he had a devil on his shoulder telling him that he needs to go straight to hell, and with him making all these references towards the devil and with Bad Blood being in Georgia, it made me think of this.
The devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind because he was way behind and he was willing to make a deal. When he came across this...
So if you know that song, you know that song. But yeah, CM Punk is the devil and he is going down to Georgia and he is looking for a soul to steal. He is going to steal Drew McIntyre's soul in Hell in a Cell. And I am so excited. I am so thrilled, to be going for media and to do it because quite frankly, this feud has just gone absolutely off the rails, and the only way this can end is in Hell in a Cell. And of course, this is a very old school notion from back in the day because my dad, who is a huge wrestling fan and who got me into it, talked about, how certain rivalries need to end in Hell in a Cell because that's just how it always ended back in the day. And Bad Blood was definitely one of those pay-per-views where stuff like that would happen. And now, mind you, they've gotten rid of the pay-per-view, so that doesn't happen anymore. So it leaves room for rivalries like this to end in a cage like that. And I'm so happy that it's being utilized in that way. So CM Punk definitely has the upper hand. I believe he has been in Hell in a Cell before against The Undertaker. So now this is a different CM Punk, a gravelly, more veteranized, and I know veteranized is not a word, but either way, a more veteran CM Punk who's been through some things, who's beaten people with straps and even bled in AEW. Like, he has been through some stuff. So this is the type of man that we're getting this time in Atlanta, and I am so thrilled about it. We're gonna find out what Drew McIntyre has to say this coming Monday, but honestly, these two cannot say anything else, and I would be okay with it. I am here to watch them fight in Hell in a Cell because Punk is going down to Georgia and he's gonna steal Drew's soul, and he ain't gonna deal in cards either. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be so cool. Ricardo saying, I just want to know if security on Raw gets paid because they let everybody get whooped and almost unalived. That's a good question. You could also say that about SmackDown too, but we're gonna get into that. But this was a very painful part of Monday Night Raw here. Because I love the New Day absolutely down. Okay. So to see them continue to go down this road of not liking each other and not agreeing with each other anymore is very painful. Of course, Kofi and Xavier had a chance to fight the Judgment Day for the tag team titles. And because Kofi could see that the Judgment Day was going to play those numbers games, and Xavier wanted Damian and Rhea to stay out of it, he did not know that Kofi had asked the LWO to back them up. And because Xavier didn't know about this, and because Kofi jumped out onto everybody outside of the ring while he had the cover and the referee was distracted, he was pissed off about it, rightfully so. And he walked away from him and he stormed away from him. And these two had an argument backstage that cut at the absolute heart, flesh and bone. And they were talking about how since they don't have Big E now, everything's different, and that, and Xavier took it as Kofi saying, "Oh, so I'm not good enough," and Kofi was like, "No, that's not what I'm saying," and it is just so hard to watch these two fight. These two are coming up on their 10th anniversary as a stable, and the fact that they're fighting hurts so bad. But to be honest, I almost feel like in order for Xavier or in order for Kofi to further grow their careers, the breakup might have to happen. And as somebody who's been through breakups before, sometimes they're necessary for you to evolve as a person and for you to be better. And sometimes it's negative, sometimes it isn't. But sometimes it just has to happen. And I love these two so much. And there is a happy, perfect part of me that would love it if they just work their issues out and just be with each other forever until they retire. But if they're having these type of differences, even while Odyssey Jones is out of the picture, it's definitely giving pain. And it hurts me so bad because the New Day has done and accomplished so much together. They've made the world even a better place outside of wrestling. And I just can't even begin to fathom the emotional outpour that might happen if they break up. I can't even imagine it. So it's really painful. Ricardo in the comments saying E was the equalizer. He was the one-man wrecking crew, and Xavier and Kofi were the cleanup. This breakup was years in the making when they got drafted to different brands. I wouldn't necessarily say Xavier and Kofi were the cleanup. I think they all equally had their different strengths because, of course, Big E was a powerhouse. Xavier was the brains, and of course, also more of the verbalizer, but he was also really good in the ring too. And I feel like his work in ring goes very much unnoticed, and it shouldn't be anymore in that way. And then you have Kofi, who's the veteran out of all of them. So they brought different things, different stuff to the table. So to see them struggling in this way with also Big E being gone, which is something they haven't really addressed since his injury, it's just really painful. It's going to hurt real bad if this is going to go the way I think it's going to go. I might cry. So pray my strength if that's what you do. But I did write an article about them and their top 5 moments on Daily DDT. That's the most recent thing. It came out this week. I was very proud to have written it. So if you have a mind to go on Daily DDT, please read it. Or you can use my link tree to go to the Daily DDT with my name on it and read all my work. But you can read the article and how I ranked their top 5 moments. This group really could have had a top 10 or 15 if they wanted to. But I did 5 because that was the assignment. So I hope you guys read it and you guys like it. So yeah, they need healing. Okay. Another thing that I loved with Raw with the men has to do with the fact that Jey Uso really ate Braun Breaker, the Intercontinental Champion, up on the microphone. Because Braun Breaker out here acting like he just gonna run through Jey. Like he ain't nothing, right? And it's just so aggravated because I'm just like, Braun Breaker, I understand that you're young and you have, the youth on your side and everybody sees you as this badass. And of course, your bloodline is the Steiners and all of that. But Jey Uso is the bloodline. He is the absolute bloodline. And he had to tell him, like, sweetheart, when you were young, I was here winning championships. I've been here for 14 years. You ain't finna do this to me. And he said, look, I'm gonna dog. You might be a dog, but he said, I'm gonna dog walk your ass. And then he said, and who knows, your Intercontinental title reign might be short and sweet, just like your NFL career. And I cackled. I cackled when he said that because I was just like, dang, why you had to come for him like that? But it's true though, because Braun Breaker was out here thinking that Jey Uso was nothing just off of the strength of what his family did to the Adam Wyatt family, saying that nobody in Jey's family ever beat anybody in the Steiner family. And yeah, that might be true, but this is today. And Jey could very well beat you. So let's not do that. Let's not do that. Okay. So yeah, this tension was amazing. And I pray Jey Uso wins because I just want him to be a champion so very badly. Like, I want it more than anything else on the planet. So, not saying that this will stop. Not saying that I don't want Braun Breaker to continue to grow as a young talent, but Jey Uso is a supernova star at this point. And I just feel like not putting a title on him is just kind of it just kind of sucks a bit because why else are you making this dude go on this killer run if you're not going to let him do his thing? So we just got to wait and see. But this exchange was hilarious and I loved it. Short and sweet like your NFL career, baby. What? But yeah. Also, Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed tried to kill each other, and I will never get enough of watching them trying to murder each other. The fact that they broke the ring and Bronson actually threw a person at him is unbelievable. I love it. These two just need to just try to murderize each other every week, and I'll be satisfied. Absolutely. Now, moving what I like this week in NXT, I wanted to give some appreciation to Ava. Something that, even though I know he's doing this because he's a bad guy, the NXT champion Ethan Page always has something slick to say to Ava and talking about how she's not doing her job well as a GM and all of the above. And the thing that I would just say to that in retort and in taking up for Ava is the fact that even though I know this is all kayfabe, I'm pretty sure the way that she's running NXT is a whole lot better than where you did come from and what we have heard, but we ain't gonna do that today. I just want to show appreciation for Ava because the fact that she is a woman of color in a position of power in this way, the same way that AJ Lee was back in the day, is just really cool for me. I just love seeing this from her, and I love the fact that she is out here, putting her foot down and just being amazing. Now, mind you, these men might be out of control because they're all crazy and whatnot, but I just like the fact that Ava is just out here doing her thing and being in charge and bossing around Robert Stone and Stevie Turner. Like, it's hilarious, but at the same time, I just want to give her flowers because Ethan Page be mad disrespectful to her just because he think he can. And it's just like, sweetheart, she will book you in a TLC match and watch your brain get broken and enjoy it. So you might need to chill. But yeah, Ava deserves more respect. And I just wanted to come on here and say that. Ricardo saying Ava really could get petty with Ethan, but she keeps it very cutesy and very demure. She does. She really does. When she could not, but, don't make her call her daddy. Because I'm pretty sure if The Rock showed up on an episode of NXT and went face to face with Ethan Page, he'd be gagged. But we know that's not going to happen. But we got to chill. But yeah, big ups to Ava. You doing your thing. And don't let him get you because you're in charge. Another thing, Ricardo said, don't make her call the rest of the family. That too. Another thing that I loved on NXT was the interaction that Roxanne had with CM Punk. Now, CM Punk said he had some type of idea last week on NXT on social media. And this happened right when Julia was fighting in her match against Chelsea Green. And what's so funny is when he said this as they were showing the replay of Julia doing her not an octopus hold, but it was another type of hold that sort of reminds you of the Black Widow that AJ Lee used to do back in the day. And I thought maybe he had an idea for the women. That's not what was going on. He came out there to make an announcement, but Roxanne, the NXT Women's Champion, interrupted him and basically said that little me is really excited to be standing in the ring with you right now, but I did always prefer your wife. I believe, he couldn't fight that because AJ Lee is a goddess and she walked so all these women could run. So we gonna give her props too. But then Roxanne just stuck the knife even further by saying that she should have been a Drew McIntyre fan as a child. And I said, girl, you are so petty for that. You did not have to hit below the belt on your dad like that. And then Julia pops out and then they cut a promo and then they almost get to fighting. But CM Punk breaks them up and everything. But what CM Punk was also saying, a about the women before that was really amazing. Like he was telling Roxanne that by all means she should be on the main roster having badass matches the way that Bianca and Io did on Monday. And it's crazy because I always felt that when the first draft happened, not this past draft, but the one before it, I thought for sure she would have been called up to the main roster. But mind you, not that her being NXT Women's Champion again is bad for her character, because clearly it's working and it's doing good stuff and producing good stuff. But at the same time, I thought for sure she would have been called up. I thought she would have been called up when she was featured in the Royal Rumble that one time, but she wasn't. And I was like, okay, well, fine. But and then he talked about, her having a chip on her shoulder. But quite frankly, even though I really think you can't be a champion and have a chip on your shoulder, but I guess, she can. But either way, I just love hearing CM Punk big up women's wrestling the way that he does. And I didn't fully realize it until he came back to AEW and he said that the audience in Chicago knows how to make him feel like Britt Baker in Pittsburgh. I was just like, oh wow, that's really interesting. And just seeing everything that he says about women's wrestling, it's just really cool. We love a feminist king, and that's exactly what he is. And I just really appreciate it. Even with him giving props to Mickie James, being a part of his start in WWE, like that is just amazing stuff. So I just love feminist king CM Punk. Ricardo saying Pepsi Phil is not gonna keep playing with my emotions about AJ not coming back. It hurts my spirit. It kind of hurts me too, but we just gotta chill. If she wants to come back, she'll come back, but we just gotta wait. Then we also have Lola Vice and Jada Parker and the acts that they have to grind with Fatal Influence. And when I say these two are probably one of the prettiest possible tag teams to ever exist, they literally are. I know that they're tough and I know that they can definitely fight down. But just looking at these two from head to toe, they're just so beautiful. Like, this is team gorgeousness as a tag team. And I hope they do take down Fatal Influence at some point. Because the way that Fatal Influence was jumping on Lola afterward, and then Jada came in and fought them off, was just was really amazing and perfect. So I'm just gonna need for them to put their differences aside and actually teach Fatal Influence a lesson. And then they're also gonna and maybe they need a third girl too. So hopefully they'll make that happen. But yeah, Ricardo's saying that they're so beautiful. God took his time making them. Like, literally, he did. He really did. Like, they are just so gorgeous. I just love them so much. Yes. And then we have the announcement that CM Punk will be at NXT Chicago, and he will be the special guest referee for the match with Trick Williams and Ethan Page for the NXT Championship. And of course, they signed the contract after Tyrese Halliburton came out there to have them sign it. And he said, look, since I'm the special guest referee, you two can get to fighting right now. Well, no, he said, y'all can get to fighting right now. And let me just say, the amount of joy that I get hearing CM Punk, a guy from Chicago, say the word y'all as a Southern person, is just out of this world. But I just love him getting involved in the things. I just hope that somehow or another he doesn't get dragged away by Drew McIntyre and we don't have a definitive finish to the rivalry between Trick and Ethan. Because Ethan Page be talking all this stuff, acting like he beat Trick Williams when he didn't. In Canada, when Heat was going on, Ethan Page accidentally fell into being champion, and Trick wasn't even the person that he pinned. So he really gonna need to calm down. So hopefully Trick will get his title back, because I really feel like he should have still been champion. But hey, whatever. I hope Trick beats his butt. That's all I have to say about that. And CM Punk as a referee is going to be really cool. So I'm here for it. Ricardo saying, I'm from Kansas City. Y'all is in my everyday vocabulary. Okay, team, y'all, let's go. Love it. I love it. So that was basically everything I loved from NXT, I think. Wait, no, I got one more thing I got to talk about that made my heart feel warm inside. Javon Evans is going to fight Randy Orton in St. Louis. This made my heart feel warm inside because Javon Evans is just 20 years old. And because he's just 20, he falls under the same age range low key as my sister. And Randy Orton was coming up in his career during that generation's time as children. So the idea that this little boy had these action figures of John Cena, of Randy Orton, of Edge, and now he's grown up and become the young OG, and now he gets to fight him. It's just the stuff of legend, and it's just the stuff of knowing that your dreams can come true if you manifest it and if you work hard along with that manifestation, and prayer as well, if that's how you believe, if that's how you move. And Javon having this opportunity just made my heart feel warm inside, like, because Javon to me is just like a little brother. So seeing him make his dreams come true at this stage is just absolutely unbelievable. It's enough to make you cry, really. So I'm just really happy for him, and I just wish him nothing but great success. And I know he's going to do good in this match with Randy Orton. But I'm pretty sure if Randy Orton gives him an RKO, it's going to be ungodly because Javon can jump in the air like nobody's business. So I know it's going to be really cool. But I'm just so happy for Javon, like on a very personal and spiritual level, just to see him make his dreams come true in that way. It's just really beautiful. It's really beautiful from a holistic standpoint. So big ups to him for that announcement being made for him. That's just really cool stuff. So it's going to be great. And then you have Tony D'Angelo losing his he doesn't believe in himself anymore as the Don of NXT because he was going to fight in a match with Hammerstone from TNA, and he just didn't believe in himself anymore. And he lost the match via countout, and he didn't even care. And this, of course, caught the D'Angelo family off guard. And they were trying to give him, a pep talk and everything for him to get himself together. And when I tell you, he was cutting his promo and he said that he was afraid for the first time in his life. And he was taking lines from Rocky 3. I was just gagged because this is the second time in WWE lore we have heard Rocky 3 utilized. And as a person who grew up watching all the Rocky movies, but as someone whose Rocky 3 is like their favorite one of all time, I just love it. And then Adriana came behind him and was saying, look, I believe in you and it's okay, and everything is going to be fine. And then what's so funny is that earlier this year you had Sami Zayn utilizing the whole Rocky 3 thing because, of course, WrestleMania was in Philadelphia. Rocky is a Philadelphia legend, even though he wasn't real. And he was using the whole I'm afraid thing, as well when he was going up against Gunther. And Chad Gable, before he turned heel, was like, look, there is no tomorrow, just like Apollo Creed. It was sending me over the edge because I love Rocky 3 all the way down. Like on any given Saturday, if either one of my parents is playing Rocky 3, I'm going to stop and watch it. I have to because it's just the best one. It's the best one to me. And hearing Adriana Rizzo, use parts of Talia Shire's speech to him, like saying, like, we're all afraid, what's the truth? Like, what's the truth? Like, it was just really getting to me. And I was just like, oh my God, they're using my movie. I love this movie so much. So the fact that they're just this is the second time in the span of a year they've used it just proves that they have a Rocky fan working for them somewhere. And big ups to them because whatever he's getting paid, it's not enough. He or she, whatever they're getting paid, it's not enough for using it. So yes, Rocky 3 supremacy, Rocky 3 supremacy. Dead meat. So yeah, that's just really cool. And of course, I have to give big ups to Joe Hendry because the NXT audience is still singing his song about Ethan Page to him every time he comes out. Every time Ethan Page comes out, they'll always start singing, Ethan sucks, believe in Joe. Ethan, put on some clothes. Joe Hendry deserves all the things. He just does, okay? Say his name and he appears. So, yeah. Another thing that I loved in wrestling this week on the AEW front is the fact that Ricochet and Will Ospreay are going to be fighting. They're going to be fighting in 2 weeks at AEW Dynamite's 5th anniversary show. And for the people who know about the lore of their matches before they got signed to larger companies and stuff, this is a major deal. And as someone who has seen the matches, I'm excited about this. And of course, you could argue that it's a little bit too soon for a certain Ricochet to have a match like this for a title. But because this is AEW and they cater to the part of the wrestling community that loves dream matches like this, they gonna run it right now. And I feel like a match like this deserves to be on the 5th anniversary show. So him and Will Ospreay are gonna fight, and I'm so excited to see it. I hope that it's on the level of their first encounter, and I just hope that everybody enjoys it, and I'm gonna enjoy it, and it's gonna be cool. And I'm not entirely sure if Ricochet is gonna win per se. It would be cool if he did, but even if he doesn't, it'll still be cool. So we got this dream match happening on television. Free television, y'all. We done made it. So yeah, this was cool to see. Also, even though I know I have my own show about WoW superheroes, I just have to come on here and talk about the fact that when I watched the very first episode of season 3 of WoW superheroes, their production value has gone up. Okay. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Their staging, their camera work, the lights, the costumes, everything is up. Do you understand me? WoW is not playing fair this season. And I'm so happy to see all the colors, all the prettiness. It's just, I was gagged watching the very first episode of season 3. And of course, if you're not already watching WoW Superheroes, you ought to, because if you enjoy all women's content that's a little bit different, here again, back to that notion of having an open mind in wrestling, I definitely recommend that you watch it because it's such a beautiful show. Those girls on there are so talented. They have new superheroes coming in and everything. Like, it's just beautiful. So production is up. The stage is staging. All of the girls are girling, and it's just really great. So I will talk more about it next week as me and Katrina host our first episode of Steph and Cat Talk Wow for our season 2. But yeah, the production is up. So I just had to come on here and talk about that because they really gagged the F out of me. And I just had to address it because we didn't have a show this week. So I just had to talk about it. But I'm going to talk about it more next week. So yes, big ups to WoW Superheroes and big ups to women's wrestling as a whole because we doing it, okay? Now, when it comes to the women on SmackDown, when I tell you Chelsea Green gagged me with her all pink outfit going out there in the dumpster. It was so hilarious because now her and Mia will be fighting in a dumpster match in Nashville on SmackDown. And I'm really excited about this because here again, this feeds into the notion that these two women work really hard and that they deserve, more opportunities. And Ricardo saying Chelsea fighting that raccoon was funny AF. It really was. And the thing that I love the most about that segment was the fact of the song that was playing in the background sounded like a song that the City Girls made with Usher. It sounded like it. Like, it sounded so much like the City Girls. And I was just like, okay, so they really leaning heavily into the hip hop. I like it. But then just seeing her in all of that pink in the dumpsters, like, it's not something that you see every day. But only Chelsea Green could pull off something so goofy and so funny. And I love her so much. And I love Michin too. So I just can't wait to see how extreme they're going to get in this dumpster match. And I definitely will not be giving credit to the woman who suggested it, because it could very well be argued that Vicky Guerrero should not be on WWE TV after the allegations her daughter put out. But justice for Sherilyn Guerrero, and that's all I have to say about that. Mark with Mikes, thank you for watching, saying it sounded like the OG version Freak It. It did. But the City Girls also sampled it, with that song with Usher, and that's just what it sounded like. And considering they were talking so much stuff about Atlanta, it low-key fit. And I was like, oh, I just like it. It did sound like that though. So thank you for watching on Twitter. So yeah, it was funny. And this part of SmackDown really caught me off guard, because you have the women's champion Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton, Miss Money in the Bank, getting ready for their Tornado Tag Team match against Naomi and Bayley. And Tiffany is, of course, believing in them, bigging them up, before the match and everything. But Nia looked at her and told her, look, if you lose this match, then you might as well leave SmackDown too. And I'm sitting here like, now, why Tiffany gotta leave? Why does Tiffany have to leave SmackDown? Like, that's just OD. You're doing way too much, Nia. Like, no. Why Tiffany gotta leave? Don't let Tiffany stay on the blue brand, okay? Let her stay there. Let her stay there. Okay, chill. So I just thought that was really funny, but I literally feel like it's only a matter of time before Tiffany plays her cards right and she cash in on her. Or if she did go to Raw, she could cash in on Liv. That would be funny. But either way, don't let Tiffany leave SmackDown. Keep her right where she is. She's doing fine. She's doing fine. Now this broke my heart. This broke my heart so bad, because I love me some Bayley and I love me some Naomi. But of course, the implication of the tornado tag was that if Naomi and Bayley, whoever got like the pin on either Nia or Tiffany, would get a title opportunity. And this played throughout the night, even leading into their match with each other, because Bayley wants to go for the title because, of course, she lost it at SummerSlam to Nia. But Naomi, though, she's been gunning for an opportunity since she got to SmackDown and since she got back to WWE. Because let's talk about it. Miss Ma'am left WWE and wrestled in TNA and became a whole Knockouts champion and held on to that title for over 100 days. And she was a dominant champion over there. So what sense does it make for her to come over to WWE after proving herself and proving her worth more and more, and coming over here and just sitting in the back of the line just because the same people want to challenge all the time? That's not fair. Naomi has been fighting and putting forth her hard work and all of the above. And yeah, she's in the tournament now for WWE Speed. And she's going to be fighting Io Sky in the semifinals. And that's cool and everything. But that's not what she came there for. She came there for top gold because she proved that she deserves top gold in TNA when she was Trinity. So, Bayley, I get that you're a 4-horsewoman, but Miss Ma'am, you've had your chance. You won your title at WrestleMania. Like, girl, you beat Damage Control. Why can't Naomi have a chance? We're Team Glow over here. I'm sorry. Ricardo's in the comments saying villain era Naomi. It looks like that's exactly what we're getting, because Naomi got the pin on Nia Jax, but then she also covered Bayley and smushed her in the process. But in the midst of that, because they were arguing backstage with Nick Aldis said, fine, to make it fair, how about the both of you just fight, and whoever wins that match becomes number one contender? And the way that Naomi was looking at Bayley, if her eyes were bullets, Bayley would be dead. And we'd only have 3 horsewomen left. You hate to see it, but it's true. Naomi deserves her chance, and if she crashes out, then so be it. Ricardo saying villain era big 3. with Miss Jacqueline as their manager. Ooh, that would be interesting. And considering she did just sign a Legends deal, you cooking, Ricardo. You cooking. That's a good idea. So, yeah, that's what's going on there. But it's really intriguing stuff. And if Naomi does decide to crash out, I can't blame her. I can't blame her. I'm sorry. I just can't. And I will say this, when it comes to the men on SmackDown, the match for the United States title between LA Knight and Andrade, although it had a few hiccups, this was a really good match, and it was a good way to open the show. Andrade continues to prove why he is that dude out here, and LA Knight continues to prove why he, deserves to have this opportunity at this point in his career. This match was definitely like a really great back and forth between the two. It was really good. Andrade definitely impressed me because he did a top rope moonsault over the ring post onto LA Knight before they went to commercial. And I was like, yo, Andrade, who told you to show out like this? But when he did that, it reminded me of Charlotte Flair, who is, of course, is his wife. And a part of me would just love to see a mixed tag between them two and watch them fight. So I just can't. This match was really good, and it was a really solid opening. And then Ricardo was saying, LA Knight had me worried about him falling. Get your fancy footwork together. Yeah, he did have a little bit of hiccups. But mistakes happen, but he did bounce back from them, and that's all that matters. Mark with Mike saying, this right here, this match was genius, fire. Absolutely, it really was. It was really good. It was very physical, very hard hitting. It was just really good. But something funny that happened was that you had Carmelo Hayes, my dude, the only heel man that I love at this point, talking crazy at Andrade after his match and telling him that he was washed. He said, look, put the fries in the bag. You're washed. You're done. And then in Sacramento, California, this man had the absolute audacity to say that I haven't seen anybody choke like that since Sacramento did with the Lakers. And all of the boos that this man got, I was like, Carmelo, I love you, but you deserve them boos. You did not have to be disrespectful like that. And then to tell Andrade, who has a wrestling family from Mexico that Michael Cole was talking about on commentary, to put the fries in the bag, that was disrespectful as F. And that's exactly why they got to fighting backstage. And that's exactly why they're finna fight each other again next week. To be honest, they could have been at Bad Blood. This match really could have been at Bad Blood because they're just going to keep fighting each other. But, them on SmackDown, I'm not mad about it either. Mark with Mike saying them boys were squabbling backstage. They really were. They really were. Carmelo Hayes, my favorite heel. He's just so messy. He's my favorite heel, too. I love him down. He is my favorite heel. He is him for a reason. But he was real disrespectful. They belong in Bad Blood, but even if they're on SmackDown, it's cool too. But let's get some black men on our pay-per-views, please. So, yeah, they deserved it. Now, my friends, this is the part of HWP where we got to get serious up in here. Cody Rhodes, the undisputed WWE champion, #1 on the PWI list this year, had a standoff conversation with Roman Reigns in the Georgia Tech football field in downtown Atlanta, Georgia. When I tell you, there was tension when they released the pictures before we even saw this take place on screen last night. But when I tell you, me and my dad were watching it together and we were quiet the whole time. And you could just feel the tension and the hot air between these men. You could feel it. You can feel it every time they stare at each other, to be quite honest. These two men have been fighting each other and have been at each other's throat for the last 2 years. But yet, they still found a way to make this so interesting. Roman Reigns rolled up with all these 7 cars like he's the president of the United States. He had a whole motorcade of security and all of that protecting him going to Georgia Tech. And to paint the picture, for those who don't know, Roman Reigns went to Georgia Tech and played football for them. Paint that picture. And then he also had on some matching Nikes. Do not ask me the name of the shoes because I'm not a sneakerhead like that. And they were matching the colors of the Georgia Tech field. And I thought that was cute. But then you have Cody Rhodes roll up in his Mustang. Shiny white Ford Mustang by himself. This is me rolling up in my car. They get in each other's face and start talking. Roman, for all of the things that he was claiming to have lost between his Ulafala and his title, he is still very delusional. Because for him to look Cody in his face and tell him that Atlanta was his city because he played football for them was absolutely ridiculous. But then Cody had to set his ass straight. Forgive me for cussing. Had to set him straight and tell him, okay, yeah, you play football. Thank you for that. But my family, my dad was fighting in the Omni down the street. And he mentioned a couple of other businesses too in Atlanta that I had never heard of. And he talked about the Omni. And he said, this might be your city, but this is my home. So in other words, Cody said this.
Run to Atlanta when you need a few dollars. No, you're not a colleague, you a fucking colonizer. The family matter and the truth for them.
Cody told him, you're a colonizer, boo. Like, you, this is not your city. This is not your city. This is my home, okay? Not like us, it's a gift that keeps on giving. Anyway, this is not your city, sweetheart. This is my home. And you're just not going to come up in here and talk about how this is your city. And then they quit the history lessons or whatever because Roman didn't want to go out like that or whatever. And he was talking about how Cody was fighting people who didn't have anything to lose. But yet Cody has everything to lose because he's a champion and all this other stuff. And then Roman has nothing to lose because he doesn't have Jimmy. He doesn't have his wise man, Paul Heyman. And he doesn't even have his Ulafala. And what's even sadder is when you think about the layers of who gave him the Ulafala in real life, like, it's just so sad. And he really doesn't have anything to lose at this point. And yeah, Cody is the champion, and once he fights them, he could just get it over with or whatever. But the layers here were very deep when it came to Roman and stuff. But the thing that I just don't like about Roman is the fact that he just be acting like Cody is just a nobody in comparison to him. And yes, you could argue that there was a point where Roman, of course, was the standard for WrestleMania main events the way Cody said he was. He was the standard and the guy and the face, before John Cena was part-time or whatever. They were prepping him to be the guy. And at one point, us as wrestling fans did not want Roman Reigns to be the guy. Remember? And it's just, now he is the guy. He was the guy for a long time, but now he isn't. He's not even champion anymore. But yet he's still out here acting like he's still running things. And Cody is telling him, no, you are not running this ship anymore. I am. The landscape has changed. And then the killing part about it is, With Roman talking about everything he has lost and how Solo, is running around here like the tribal chief, all of this is happening because it's Roman's fault. And that's the part that nobody else is talking about in all of their shows and in all of their articles. Nobody is saying that Roman Reigns is the reason why all of this is happening. All of this is happening to Roman Reigns because of what Roman Reigns did and the system he set up with his family. He was the one who propositioned himself as a tribal chief, chosen as a tribal chief, always talked down to the Usos, told Solo that he was the tribal heir if stuff doesn't go right with him. Solo took over and now he's running rampant and he's got power drunk. You lost the wise man, you lost Jimmy. All of this has happened because of actions that you set forth. Roman Reigns sent these chickens and they came home to roost. And everybody can blame Cody for it all they want to, but the truth is, the sad fact is, this is all happening because Roman Reigns set this in motion. He set all this to happen for himself. And Cody was just telling him, look, I'm just the beneficiary of all of the mess you've got going on with your family. I'm the champion because I beat you. But finally, he said, look, I just need to know if you're going to have my back at Bad Blood. And he said, and Roman was like, yeah, you have my word. But I don't trust Roman Reigns' word. I just don't. Because of everything he has done with his family because for all these years and everything and how he's just stabbed people in the back constantly, I don't believe him. I just don't believe him. And then what's so bad is Roman was walking away and Cody stepped in front of him after he told him, I'm coming back to take what's mine. And Cody was like, this is not yours to take. And Roman was like, you're in my way in life. And I'm just like, you are so delulu. You are so delulu. Because you really think that just because you've been the guy for so long means that somebody else can't be. Cody is that guy, and people don't want to admit it. Another holding hands moment. Cody Rhodes is the champion, and he is that guy. Now, mind you, you can say Roman Reigns could still very well be that guy because of the aura that he has and how everybody's excited that he's back, that he's trying to come back and take, his rightful place as the tribal chief back. And all of that is 100% valid. I get it. But he is not the top guy. Cody is the top guy. Cody, the way that everything was sort of handed to Roman to be the top guy to a degree, Cody really had to work for it. And he couldn't necessarily stay in WWE and work for it. He had to work for it everywhere else for him to prove himself to be a top guy. And now he is one, and y'all don't want to give him his props because y'all keep holding on. No, let it go. And y'all can get mad at me for saying it, but that's just how I feel. Like, Cody is the top guy, and yeah, he's a babyface, and yeah, he doesn't have all the va-va-voom that Roman Reigns had going on with the bloodline or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But that's not his job. That's not what he's supposed to do. He wasn't supposed to be Roman Reigns Jr. He's supposed to be Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, the son of the American Dream, the champion, his own man, the babyface, the complete opposite of what Roman was doing, winning his matches by himself in a straight way. That's what Cody is doing. But yet people keep beating down on him and making it seem like he's not the guy. And that's just not true. Cody is the guy. And Roman is just going to have to deal with it and put on his big boy britches and go back to the drawing board and figure it out. Like Pete Dunne. But this whole segment was beautiful. This segment was beautiful. It felt like a movie. The idea that they were able to film this in the middle of college football season sent me over the edge when I was watching it. And then the fact that they had all this, they were able to do all of this in the midst of busy downtown Atlanta at that, because downtown Atlanta is always busy. If you've ever been there, it's busy. So the fact that they were able to do this, it just blows my mind. And the fact that they're doing this for Bad Blood, which is a pay-per-view that they are bringing back. Bad Blood did not exist a few years ago. They weren't doing it anymore. So the idea that they're doing all of this for Bad Blood and not even for SummerSlam, not even for the Royal Rumble, not even for Mania, not even for Survivor Series. They're doing all this for Bad Blood. A pay-per-view that's happening in the South. Y'all can't tell me nothing no more. So yeah, this segment was absolutely beautiful and I can't wait to see more like it. It was very dramatic, very insane, very cinematic, like a lot of people were saying in the comments. It was so good I had to watch it again. Bad Blood is gonna send me to the hospital and I'm just gonna, hopefully I'll be okay, but this is gonna be great. So that's pretty much all I liked in wrestling this week. Of course, thank you guys for going off in the comments and telling me everything that you guys liked in wrestling and stuff. So we've reached the end of our time together, sadly. But, I will be back because I'm always working. So, of course, if you have not already, please watch Steph and Cat Talk Wow, which is a show I do with Katrina Blake of In Cat We Trust, where we talk about the ins and outs of Wow Women of Wrestling. We are starting our second season this coming week, where we're going to talk about the first 2 episodes of season 3 of Wow Superheroes. I am so excited that we were able to create this show. And talk about women's wrestling in this way. So please, if you have not checked it out already, please do check it out. We do it on Wednesdays, or we announce what days we're actually doing it because life be life and sometimes, and we have to reschedule. So please watch that show. It's on my YouTube or on her YouTube, and just support the women of WoW. And if you have not watched WoW Superheroes, I suggest that you really do, because it's a beautiful hour's worth of women's wrestling as a whole. And yeah, the characters are different from the ones that you see on shows like WWE, AEW, and NWA, but the wrestling is still very solid. So I do encourage you to have an open mind and check it out. Please do. And then after you watch it, you can watch our post show where we talk about it. So, and we do interviews with some of the girls too. So if you see those interviews on our YouTube channel, check those out as well. And hopefully we'll be doing more of those as we matriculate through our second season. So check that out. It's really cool stuff. And of course, if you're looking for a podcast host, a guest for your podcast, a writer or a color commentator or a panelist for your conventions, please email me at hardywrestlingpodcast@gmail.com or DM me on Instagram or on Twitter/X at Queen Steph Hardy. We can work on rates. You can tell me your vision of what you have going on, and I will try my best to add to it and make it the best that it can be. I work really hard. I love working with, different people from different walks of life in wrestling. And I just try my best to be a positive voice in this space. So if you need somebody that has all the abilities like I do, those are all the places that I have been and worked with in the past, as you can see on that flyer. So please book your girl, book your girl, book your girl, because I am out here and I love wrestling for real. And yeah, I just want to do my thing and share my voice in a beautiful way and in a positive way. So book your girl. And of course, like I said earlier, please read my read my articles on Daily DDT. I have a new article celebrating 10 years of the New Day by sharing their top 5 moments. So if you have not read that already, please go on Daily DDT and read it. And read the rest of my articles too, because we are coming up on my 1-year anniversary of working with Daily DDT. I'm so happy and grateful for Rafael Garcia, the editor, for letting me get my crazy ideas out there and for trusting me to be a part of it and fan-sided. So please check it out. And I hope to continue with more great work. I'm just really proud of this article because, like I said earlier, I have always loved the New Day. I love everything that they represent in and out of wrestling, and I just appreciate them for them just being who they are and for giving other people the freedom to be who they are as well. And I just love what they represent. So please read the article. This was a labor of love, and hopefully, more labor of loves will come. But I can't thank them enough for being who they are. So this is my one way of showing appreciation for them. So check it out. And of course, you can buy my merchandise on foryourwear.com. That's FORURWEAR. Go on their website. They have tons of cool stuff, but they also have my merchandise on there. You can buy my Alabama wrestling t-shirt that celebrates wrestling icons from the state of Alabama, just like me. You can buy the shirts in either red or black, and they're available in all sizes. And they come in hoodie form because tomorrow is the first day of fall. So that's hoodie weather. So if you're looking for a new wrestling merchandise that will grab people's attention, please check that out. Please buy the merch. And also you can buy my merchandise that celebrates the love of Bianca and Montez. I gave them the ship name Beyonces, even though they call each other Manianca. That's okay. I call them Beyonces. So if you want to celebrate that love, you can buy that t-shirt in the colors of black in all sizes as well. And I have another t-shirt that celebrates the Bloodline storyline called the Bold and the Bloodline, which also pays tribute to one of the oldest soap operas in existence, The Bold and the Beautiful. So buy that merchandise at foryourwear.com. So, of course, thank you guys so much for sitting and watching me and hearing me talk about wrestling in your PJs, eating your cereal on this Saturday morning. I'm really grateful for all the growth and all the love shown, and hopefully we'll continue to help it grow. And also shout out to my Hardy Wrestling Podcast Championship in the background. That is my baby, and I love it. And also shout out to Zelina Vega. Her Funko Pop is in the background too. So you just can't go wrong with that. So of course, this has been HWP with your girl, Stephanie Hardy. And I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend that's relaxing and just full of all the things that you love. And you're taking care of yourself. And until next time, bye y'all.